So this is the part that I think people may miss, right? Because here's the question. The question is, why do people work for the government for so long, right? uh, Government, military example. My dad was in the Coast Guard for 30 years, went back to the government 15 years. So it was a 45-year career from like 18 to 63 years old. Why do people work for the government for so long? Right? I meet guys that are in the military, and all the time we're talking about, hey, you staying in for the full 20, right? And they say some guys are like, nah, I'm getting out early. Some people say no, like I want to stay in, right? Why do people stay in, right, for so long? Right? So this is gonna be simple. This is simple. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up the legacy Google, right? I know a lot of us are on ChatGPT these days, but let's go to old school Google, right? I never thought we'd be calling Google old school. Why do people work for the government for so long? Let's see. Oh, look, it's still AI still coming in, right? High level of job security, attractive benefits like pensions, okay? Also health insurance, right? Career advancement and so forth, right? Job safety, security from layoffs, downsizing, all that different stuff, right? Guys, one of the biggest draws for working in the government, you always hear this, it's the what? Government pension, right? Do I get a pension if I stay in the military for 20 years? Retiring with 20 years of service, the years of service, right? Retiring with 20 years of service means your military, means your pension, your retirement pension will be 50% of the highest 36-month pay average, right? Waiting to leave after 40 years will make your pension 100% of your monthly pay, right? So the longer you stay in, right, we call this tenure, right? The longer that you're in, the higher percentage of your pay that you'll get paid in retirement, okay? So the one of the biggest reasons people stay in for so long is the pension. It's the get watch this. It's the guaranteed income in retirement. People don't want to go into retirement and have to worry about the money that they're going to be making because what? They're older. They've already worked their career, right? They don't want to have to now, we saw back in 07, 08, you had people going back working at Walmart and greeters lines and all this different stuff. People don't want to do that, especially at an older age. Okay. And so the thing that what I've seen, obviously, in the world that we live in today, that pensions in the private sector are not as prevalent anymore. It costs a lot of money for a company to offer guaranteed pensions, right? Because that word guarantee costs money, right? And so instead, a 401k takes pressure off of the CEO of the company and it puts it on who? It puts it on the employee. Right? The company does not have to guarantee that all of your money will be there by the time you retire in your 401k. There is no binding agreement for the company, right? And so that's where these this type of products come into play, right? So we look at like versus pension, right? So our pension plans and annuity, same thing, right? So you come actually I saw okay, pension versus annuity. Okay. So pensions and annuities are two common sources of retirement income. However, they're different, right? Determining which is better for you will depend on your individual circumstances. Let me see. When it comes to deciding between a pension and annuity, the difference between taking your pension payments and taking a lump sum pension, right? So if you have a pension, you have a choice of a lump sum or monthly installments. It's almost like if you win the lottery, right? Like let me see here. I'll go back to that one. So if you go. Let me see here. So I'll go back to so if you go here, you go lottery, and they say annuitized. Oh man, jackpot earnings, right? So like, let's see if there's a picture for it. So if you, where is it? Where is it? Where da, da, da. Jackpot amount. So like at the gas station, that's close to where I live. If you go there, there's these for the fine print says annuitized jackpot earnings, and let me see. There you go. So choosing an annuity to receiving means receiving a first payment allowed by 29 payments that increase over 5% each time until the total winning amount is reached, right? Lottery payments, annuity versus lump sum. So what happens here is this. If you get how lotteries work, da, 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 if you get the jackpot, all annuity, watch this. Okay, mega, there we go. All annuity, I just saw that. Where was that? All annuity. Oh, all annuity amounts are shown shown are the average amounts of a jackpot winner could receive. So annuity payment schedule. So when you win the lottery, you have a choice of a lump sum and a monthly installment, right? It's the same, similar when you have a pension, you could choose lump sum, get it monthly, right? And so what's happening when you look at, even for example, an annuity, the annuity it's an insurance contract, but it's a monthly installment, right? Let's see. Um, Okay, pensions or retirement savings plan offered by some employers to their employees. Your employer sets up and manages a pension fund on your behalf, right? So that costs resources from the company, right? The amount you receive is determined by several factors: age, salary, number of years, and so forth. While pensions have become less common in the private sector, you see, they remain a standard benefit for many government employees. Okay. And so that becomes a really big challenge that we're seeing right now with all of the changes with the administration. And here's my thing. I Responsibility is always on two parties. It's never just on one, especially when we're in a community, right? And so what I see is, okay, there's a rapid change taking place before people were prepared for it. That's a problem, right? The other piece is this rapid change is affecting the people who depend on the government for their retirement benefits and packages and so forth, right? And so where's the responsibility? One, it's in the administration that we have right now. They have responsibility to, one, warn people like this erratic movement that we're having. It's kind of, that's not, leadership is usually calm, steady, right? People know what to expect. Okay. At the same token, if I'm in this country today, I'm saying, you know what? No longer do I want to depend on the government for this stuff, because these changes only affect me when I do. These changes don't affect me if I don't depend on it, right? Does that make sense? That's the only reason it affects me so much, is because I'm dependent on this leadership, right, to do the right thing. And so that was a decision that I made when I got back from Brazil. I said, hey, I'm gonna go into my career, but I don't want to build a dependent career. I want to be able to depend on my sound mind and the decisions that I'm gonna make for my future family and so forth, right? And so regardless, you see the pension. Let me see, the first to receive monthly payments. That provides a steady, reliable source of retirement, ideal for planning your retirement budget. Right. You can also do the lump sum. The challenge, guys, lump sum. Most of us are not being taught financial literacy throughout our careers and so forth. So that lump sum, there's something called Parkinson's law, which says the more you make, the more you spend, right? It's the same with your time. If you have a bunch of time just to spend, you'll spend it scrolling, binging, all that stuff. It's same with money. And so there's a book by, what's his name, Damon John. That's it's called The Power of Broke, and understanding how to attack that Parkinson's law, right? Which means like, hey, just because I have more doesn't mean I'm going to spend it. Anyways, so the reason why I say this, the lump sum can be tough, because if we haven't been practicing those habits up until that point, that money goes quickly, right? And so, let me see. Okay, disadvantage, less transparency. Estate planning can be tough. That's a big one right there. Estate planning, right? So, annuity is an insurance product offered by an insurance company to the purchase of the contract with a certain amount of money, which you will fund either through a lump sum or a periodic payment. The insurer will invest your money in mutual funds, stock, bonds. When you retire, you can start receiving regular payments from your annuity. When you start receiving payments, how long the payments immediate versus a later date, how long the payments last, and how much you receive will all depend on your specific agreement. Yes. Advantage is control, right? So big advantage of annuities is that you are the one who opens the annuity. So the big difference between like a pension is opened by the company or the government, the entity that you're working for. The annuity, a private annuity, it's not a pension, but it acts similar to a pension. It's a private annuity that you decide to open, and you decide how much is in. You can also map out the numbers on how much you're going to get on a monthly payment for the rest of your life, right? And then the tax advantages and estate planning is huge as well, right? Because you have to, especially when it comes to a pension, you have to ask one, years of service, and then who's a defined benefit option, right? So if something happens to me, does my family get 100% of this, right? Does my family get 50%? When it comes to insurance, the one really strong benefit of insurance is it bypasses probate. A lot of the death taxes and all that stuff that you have to face with like 401ks and pensions, all that stuff, you don't have to deal with when it comes to annuities, right? After tax money won't pay income. Okay, so they can be complex. Yes, they're different. Most people aren't familiar with them because we go to our job, we get enrolled in a 401k, or they have a pension set up for us. They're not teaching. First of all, they don't even teach about 401ks and pensions. They don't really educate heavily on it, right? And so most people, one, aren't even familiar with how that works. And then throw in this other word called an annuity, and you're telling me it's with an insurance company? That's just a lot to deal with. I want to stick to what I'm used to, right? If you're unfamiliar with annuities, process of agreeing contract, overwhelming. Yep, talk with a financial. Yes. Because insure, invest your money, stock market for you, likely so maintenance fees. So there are pensions that have fees if you want aggressive pensions, and then there's also no fee annuities. I'm sorry, pensions. There's annuities that have fees if you want more aggressive growth. There's also no fee annuities if you're just looking for protection, right? And the thing I always want to share with people is like, hey, when you're looking at insurance, you're not looking at doubling your growth, tripling your growth, quadrupling your growth, like you are in a mutual fund or stock. Nvidia is going to grow faster than your insurance product. I'm telling you that right now, right? And so don't get fooled and tricked by all the number manipulations, all that stuff. Oh, you're gonna be the multimillionaire in 2 years with your insurance contract or your annuity. Not quite, right? Once you put your money in annuity, so here's the thing. This says once you put your money into an annuity, you cannot get it back. That's not all the way true because you can surrender something called a surrender charge, surrender period. You can surrender your money. A lot of annuities have 10% access over the first 10 years. And if you want to take out more, you do get hit with a penalty. Similar to if you pull money out of a 401k. 401k, pull out early, you're getting hit with a 10% federal tax, 3% state. Unlike pensions, an annuity is not no insurance, it's not insured. Losing your annuity payments isn't necessarily a big concern if you work with a well-established insurance company. Yeah, that doesn't even, I'll be honest, to me, that doesn't even make sense because uh losing your annuity payments, you don't, these insurance companies are, these are contracts. When the market went down in 0708, all the banking issues that were happening, the insurance companies were the ones that stepped in basically when the banks were having trouble because insurance companies are solvent, they're liquid, they have access to capital. You put your money in a bank, you put $400,000, let's just say, in a bank account, and you go try to take that money out tomorrow. What's going to happen? Your bank teller is going to say, come back in 7 days because we're trying to move some things around, right? The difference with insurance companies have to pay out premiums if people, like for example, life insurance companies, when people pass away. And so they have liquid assets on hand. And so you can have access to that, right? And that's why they're a little bit more secure long term. Most of your banks are backed by insurance, right? For that very reason. And so, anyways, these are just a couple pieces of information to kind of to put out there just because it's like this misconception people just don't understand how this stuff works. And so I'm hoping if nothing else this can like offer just some more clarity. Obviously you got to do your research, but it's pretty simple. Stuff's out there. It's just understanding what some of the different nuances and terms mean. And when it comes to the whole conversation we were having about like just the government and what's happening, changes, all that stuff, that's why we're hosting the event that we are, the DOGE event that we're hosting here February 21st, where we have military service members that are coming out. We'll have government employees that are coming out as well. Some that have taken the severance, some that haven't. People that have been government contractors, and what impact this is going to have for them for their careers long term as well. And so, be on the lookout. Out, all the information is up there. But just want to make sure people are educated and informed. But then again, it's not education is just not having information. Education is taking action on the information that we have. And so we want to make sure that we can cultivate an environment where people can receive the information they need and then take the right steps forward in order to secure not just their legacy, but the legacy of their family and the people around them as well. Right.